Hi, everybody. So I am super thrilled to talk to our next special guest. His name is Jesse Harless. And actually, I have never met him in person. I've just seen him around the One Life Fully Lived community and have been just really impressed and inspired by his journey. And so I wanted to have him on to talk to us about his kind of journey of self-love and a very unique tool that he uses that everybody has access to, that helps with energy, it helps reducing anxiety, it helps with a ton of stuff. So he's going to give us all the information on that. So Jesse, just tell us, who is Jesse Harless? We want to know.
Yeah, hi Janice. Thanks for having me on your show, and it's an honor to be here. It's all of the things that I do today are a result of self care because of my past. The past was filled with trauma and depression and anxiety. So addiction was really another. But those were the root causes, and so the things I do, it's more of like experiments to see what's going to work best to help with self-soothing and self-care. So these are all just practices I've used to overcome and get through and anxiety, depression, and and even bad habits that have just worked for me and others.
So let me ask you, with the pre kind of finding all these tools and self-love and digging deeper into personal growth, um, how bad would you say was your anxiety or depression? How were you feeling pre all of this?
Yeah, it was pretty serious. You know, when I was in my early 20s, I had cocaine and heroin and alcohol addiction pretty severely, and there was a reason why I was doing all that. I mean, not only was it addictive substances, but it was really covering up pain and covering up anxiety, and so that it was pretty severe, suicidal ideation. It was not a good time, and that went on for about 4 years. So it was a really it was a real low spot, and so it was severe. So the self care had to be severe. The opposite, the positive opposite, had to be extreme for me. It couldn't. I feel like I kind of was going all in on the negative side, so I had to go all in on the positive side if I was gonna find recovery, my own version of recovery, because recovery is different for everyone. So my version of recovery, mental health recovery and addiction recovery, my journey just happened to include habits like journaling every single day for the last almost 15 years, you know, doing movement every day, a little bit of movement, a little bit of stretching every single day, um, having a circle of five, a recovery circle, so like a support team. I call it my recovery team that I could talk to, and they would help me without being affected by what I said. They could just be there as a ear, as accountability. So all these different practices and habits, and eventually, of course, cold showers came along later on, and some of the other habits that I do today came along later on that just helped me to really start to heal the underlying trauma, because trauma gets stored in the body. The issues are in the tissues. You hear that said, and it's true. It gets stored in the cellular memory. So how am I going to get that out? By just saying some affirmations? It might not work. So I might have to go a little deeper. I might have to do a cleansing with some foods. Maybe I need to do a juice fast or a water fast, or, eat raw foods for 30 days and really detox and get some of this waste out of me, and then be able to do some more deeper healing. And so, yeah, it's
What
pretty.
was it? Uh, what was it that changed for you? How did you decide? Or did you, I mean, obviously there has to be a decision involved from going from all these addictive behaviors and severe depression and all of that to change. So what was the catalyst for your change?
Yeah, that's a good one. Good question. So at 22, um, at 22 years old, I was arrested. So that was the catalyst. So I was, I was chasing my high. I was chasing the high. I was chasing the high, and chasing the high led to me being arrested by federal agents, and it was pretty serious charges. And that kind of changed everything, because if I was to violate the conditions I was under, it would have meant federal prison time. So it really woke me up. Woke me up to like, wow, what have I been doing for the last 4 years of my life? And it woke me up to these practices. And I was very fortunate that when I was arrested, I was able to find a group to be encompassed by, a self-help group. And that group, for some people, is Alcoholics Anonymous, or Narcotics Anonymous, or Cocaine Anonymous, or Gamblers Anonymous, or Overeaters Anonymous, whatever it is for them, or Al-Anon, or a church, a synagogue, a yoga practice. So I was really fortunate. I found a self-help group. I found also another group of men that were supporting me. I had a mentor. So this is really, really key for anyone who's listening. I had a mentor early on, and I would meet with this mentor every single week. So this is a person I looked up to. This is a person that had a lot of wisdom. And so I would come to him and I would share crazy stuff with him. I mean, I was not, up here wasn't all connected, the circuitry yet. So I was sharing all this stuff, and he would just calmly share his experience and suggestions. And I took notes. I took it very serious, and I journaled every day. And I really, these are the things that I started to do as a result of being arrested. I really had a choice. It was the fork in the road. Do I just go this way and do the prison time, have that whole new story of my life, or do this route, which was the unknown, which was the getting out of the comfort zone?
Ooh, oh my gosh, I love that. And obviously you chose this path, which, I mean, thank goodness, because look at all the people that you're helping, that you will help. It's super inspirational. And how did you evolve into the man that you are today, who is a speaker and writing books and really inspiring other people through their journeys? How was that evolution for you? I mean, obviously you said there were habits that you changed one by one. You had your tribe of people around you and mentors. What else was a part of that journey? How did you get into the cold shower or cold therapy type of deal?
So, so it took time. It took time. It took years and years of these daily practices, really daily practices, to start to gain confidence in myself, to start to gain self-esteem and realize my self-worth. And then in time, I started to take risks, calculated risks. So that's the only way growth, everything we want is on the other side of discomfort. It's on the other side of some type of change. And so when I decided that I wanted to buy my first home, I knew that I couldn't stay in the same job I was in. So I had to get out of my comfort zone, because I had got felonies because of what happened with the addiction to drugs and alcohol. So I had to go out into the marketplace and see if I would get hired. And I got hired. And that's a long story short. I got hired, and all of a sudden, something just inside of me said, whoa, I'm playing too small. And I really excelled at this new position, and I kept excelling. And what I did was, I was so inspired that I hired a life coach. I was in a job, a 9-to-5 job, and it wasn't really 9 to 5, but I was in a job, and I just hired a life coach because I read somewhere about this fitness guy who hired a coach once. So I Googled, found a life coach, and I'm coaching with this life coach, planning on being with my job for 30, 40 more years. And what ended up happening is I hit all my goals with this life coach. And then I was like, I'm going to go hang out with some entrepreneurs. And then next thing you know, I read The Miracle Morning. And next thing you know, I'm hanging out with Hal Elrod. And next thing you know, I'm hanging out with John Berghoff. And I'm like, who are these guys? And next thing you know, I get these new ideas in my head. And I said, what happened? What would I do if I was an entrepreneur? And that's all it took. Just asking generative questions, asking the right questions to yourself over and over. And I started to realize, like, I know I can do this. If I can make $1 million for this company, I probably could pay my bills on my own. I'm pretty sure. So that was the seeds that were planted. And then in 2017, I left my job. And to back it up a little bit, the cold showers came not long after I read The Miracle Morning, and not long after I hired that life coach. So there's no coincidences in this universe. So I started taking the cold showers in 2015 in December, and it was life changing. It took me 2 years, or more than 2 years, to write the book about cold showers. And I wrote that book only because I should probably stop talking. I'll go on a rant. But I wrote the book as a result of people saying to me, "Why do you take cold showers?" And they could Google. Anyone can just Google why take cold showers, and you're going to get the negatives, the positives. But I had a different twist on it, and that's why, people said, "Hey, could you write a book about it?" And ironically, in the book, I didn't even put the details of some of the things I was saying, because I want to keep the book really short.
Well, and just, don't tell us everything, because we all want to go out and get this book, although I already have it. But just tell us some benefits, the benefits that you personally have noticed and experienced in taking cold showers. And now we talked about before this interview how now you're doing the cold baths. So take us through the benefits. What does it do for you? How does it help you?
Yeah, so the biggest thing, the first benefit that I got from it was a reduction in my anxiety. That was a big one, because at this point I was 10 years into my recovery and I still had social anxiety, meaning there were some times when it was 5 o'clock at night and I just needed to go food shopping and I couldn't leave the house. It was still that severe. And I hid it very well. People didn't know that because I was, doing speaking and different things. So it was hard to people to pick that up, but some of the people closest to me knew it. And so when I took the cold shower, that very first cold shower, I went to a meeting 2 hours later and sat in a room of people, which usually would have brought up these feelings that I usually get, because anxiety is physical. It's physical, mental. It can even, it affects you emotionally. So I didn't have the anxiety sitting in that meeting. And I was like, the only thing I did different was take that cold shower. And so I gave myself a 30-day challenge where I would take 30 days of cold showers. And what ended up happening is I went on this just epic run at my workplace and crushed my records, won the highest award in the company. Like, it was insane. So I just kept taking the cold showers because it was giving me more confidence. So the first thing it did is reduce my anxiety. It gave me more confidence. And then I started to look into the science of it. Well, why does it do that? Oh, there's a study here of how it actually decreases anxiety and depression. Here's a study by Dr. Nikolai Shevchuk. Let me go ahead and look a little deeper into this. And it releases beta endorphins, norepinephrine. So there's more to this. And some people know Wim Hof, and they can look at some of the studies he's done. So there was just more to it. And so the main benefits was reducing anxiety, reducing depression. And then, of course, it was resilience, increasing my resilience capacity. And obviously there's physical, my skin cleared up, my acne in my back cleared up, my skin just became much more vibrant. There was a reduction in asthmatic symptoms. I don't even say I have asthma. I don't even have my inhaler anymore. So these are things I didn't even include in the book about that. But, I put enough in there that people can get an idea of what benefits there were.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, just one of those benefits I think would be worth, at least exploring that a little bit and trying to fit that into one's life. I mean, there's so many different tools and methods and strategies and things like that. But this one for me is, it's truly fascinating. And there is this shock, at least every time when I did it for 30 days, this just shock of, your body just wanting to immediately reject that. And so then coming and focusing on your breathing and just focusing on being in that space, even though it's uncomfortable, it's really, really cool. I really enjoyed.
What are the benefits you had when you took
So the benefits I had were I just felt more energy every time I would get out of the shower, which for me, energy has always been a struggle. I am anemic, so I take iron, and it's always kind of been this struggle. And so it helped me with energy. It helped me to focus. I struggle a lot with ruminating on thoughts that do not serve me and spiraling down into this negative hole in this space. So for me, focus and concentration is super important. What am I putting my focus on? What am I choosing to concentrate on? And so when there's something so shocking to the system, and then I have to go, wait, instead of focusing so much on the water or the discomfort, I'm going to focus on my breath. I'm going to come back to my breath. And yeah, that stuff still may be going on, but as long as I could kind of focus in on my breath, I felt accomplished. So for me, that was a huge, huge benefit. And meditation and things like that just helped me with the mental spiraling, the monkey brain, I guess is what they call it, or
Monkey.
What is it?
Yeah, the monkey mind.
The monkey mind, that's what it is. Yes. And it'll take me. Yeah. It'll take me. And then as I'm choosing to think all these thoughts, I'm wondering, why am I feeling so crappy? Like all of a sudden, just this normal day has shifted because of my own thoughts. Even if nothing has happened, it's all up here. And that's what I love about personal growth, is going, okay, how do I take control of my thoughts? And what are some ways to do that? How can I help myself and love myself, like truly get to a place of love and acceptance? In other words, really having those types of thoughts instead of the thoughts of you're worthless, you're not good enough, you're a failure, and all the negative things. So I don't know, do you tend to struggle with ruminating or negative thinking? Has that been ever a thing for you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I even write about that in my book. I talk about shutting up the annoying mental chatter that continues to happen all day. You always have a conversation going on in your head every day, and you don't even need it, but it just happens because that's the mind, AKA the ego's job, is to do that. So, that was another thing is about the cold showers, is like I had a cold shower routine where, just like you said, like I got into the present moment. I get into my body. A lot of times we're not in our body. We're just up here in our head all day long. So getting in the cold shower, I had to be really, because I would take the cold showers straight cold. Now, you don't have to do that. I don't even recommend that. You can take a warm shower and then end it cold and gradually go colder. I like to take them straight cold because then when I get in, I have to immediately get out of my head and I have to focus on my breath and focus on what the next body part that needs to be washed is. So it is a meditation. Every time I take a cold shower, it is a meditation. And the whole time I'm there, 5 minutes or more, I'm really paying attention to what's in front of me, what's next, and practicing deep breathing. 5 breaths. Deep breathe in for 5, hold it for 5, breathe out for 5. The box breathing, and so to be honest, I don't even have to do that anymore. In the beginning days, I really did like those type of mechanized breaths. I don't do that anymore. Now I can just breathe normally because I'm so used to it. I can just breathe normally in the cold shower. But yes, it is about presencing. It's about getting into the present moment, getting out of your head. And if you're struggling with just getting out of your head because you're watching the media and all these things going on, go ahead and take a cold shower. That'll get you out of your head because you immediately get into your body because you have to, because your body goes, whoa. And then your mammalian dive reflex in the parts of the body that's like, whoa, what's going on right now? It's called the cold shock. And it's actually a good thing. It's actually a positive occurrence. It's called a positive stressor. We're not taught about positive stress. This is positive stress. And so if you're training yourself to go through positive stress moments, when you actually have a stressful moment, you could feel into your body like, oh, well, I'll get through this because I took that cold shower today, so I'm a little more resilient. And think about compounding that by 1 year of cold showers or 30 days of cold showers. For me, it's been almost 5 years. So it's when things hit me and it's really the situations that used to baffle me do not baffle me anymore. And then, like you said, it's not just cold showers. Cold showers is a keystone habit that leads to meditation and other habits that you can stack on top of it.
Wow. What would you say is your most um, meaningful or helpful habit that you have? Would it be the cold showers and that kind of cold water, or is it something else?
I would say the most important habit I have is my daily spiritual practice, which is meditation. And that's my most important because there's days, especially in COVID, I don't take a shower. Like that didn't used to happen, but now with COVID, I mean, most of my work is virtual. So some days I don't take a cold shower, but I'm never going to miss my meditation. I'm never going to miss that time where I just spend that moment to connect to myself, to connect to beyond myself. Instead of just seeing from these eyes, I can see a greater vision than just from these two little eyes. When I sit in a meditative practice, and people might hear meditation and get triggered, like, oh, I don't do the meditation. Yes, you do. You do meditation. If you're taking a walk in nature and you're observing the birds, that's a meditation. So it's really just I just like to do a meditation, by myself with my eyes closed in my meditation spot every day, so that I have this routine of like, hey, let's slow down today. Let's stay calm and not let the world run my life. Let me run my life from my inner world instead of running it from an outer world perspective. And so meditation is probably the most important one for me.
That's amazing. What would you say to someone who's kind of in so much internal pain that the idea of just sitting still, because I know this was me, years ago, the idea of sitting still is so scary that they just don't want to do it. Is there another step in between? Is there something that they can do to really know that they are capable and strong enough to sit in stillness?
Yeah, absolutely. The easiest thing to do is to get a notepad and a pen, bring it with you, and then get in a comfortable position and be really comfortable. Don't get in some type of strange yogic position. Like just be comfortable and then bring that journal and notepad with you. And then just start to breathe slowly. So start with deep breaths right into your heart or chest area. So really, and as you do that, put your hand on your heart. So really just actually put your physical hand on your heart, or both hands, close your eyes, and just start to take really deep breaths inside and outside of your heart or chest area. Just continue to do that. And just do that for like 30 seconds and hold your heart. And then from there, I want you to just feel into those feelings. What are you feeling? Maybe you're feeling panicky. Maybe you're feeling anxiety, maybe you're feeling resentful. And just what you want to do is just start to, as you feel those feelings, just start to think of how would I like to feel right now? Oh, I would like to feel ease or neutrality right now. I just want to feel neutral. I don't want to feel resentful. And start to breathe into your heart those feelings of neutrality. Breathe into ease. So think of it, just a little bit like ease, breathe that in, and then give yourself 2 minutes of that, open your eyes, and then journal down, hey, what did you learn from that experience? Write down like, hey, I was resentful, but you know what? I feel a little calmer now. So have that relationship between breathing into your heart, shifting your attitude, and then journaling. And that only took you 3 or 4 minutes. And you can start with that. And then from there, doing that every day for 7 days, if you don't get any results, don't do it anymore. If you get a little bit of relief, keep doing it and then increase it. And then you can maybe find a guided meditation, or you can start to branch out and see what else you like. So meditation's like a really loaded word. It doesn't even have to be called meditation. It just could be called mindfulness, just being mindful, sitting with yourself and breathing into your heart.
And that's what I love so much about just breathing exercises, because it doesn't sound all whatever. It's just focusing on the breath, coming back into our bodies, being aware of that, being in the present moment. And yeah, so you're right. Sometimes there is kind of this stigma, or meditation just sounds too lofty or something like that. But really, it is walking down the street and being present in that one moment and noticing breath and noticing what's going on right there, instead of what one of my favorite pastimes has been is, let's think about all the things that have happened in the past and how we're really scared that they're going to happen again in the future. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Jesse. You are amazing. Before I let you go, though, tell everybody kind of what you're doing currently. And then also in the group, I'm going to post about your book and how to find you. But let us know what your life looks like right now and what you're doing to help people.
Well, my business was mostly in person with facilitation, and with COVID, it's now online. So now I'm doing a lot of all my facilitation for the most part. 99% is online. So I facilitate with groups that are in the addiction recovery and mental health space. I help build communities of recovery, even virtually now. So that's kind of the work. That is the work I'm doing. And then also, though, I'm writing my next book, which is set to come out on the December 12, 2020. And so that next book will have a lot of these practices I'm talking about will all be in the book. Any practices I've ever experimented and journaled and tried over the last 15 years are going to be in this book, and all the stuff I do and the stuff I've learned from others. So that book would be out in December. So that's what I'm working on, is writing and doing some of the facilitation online.
That's amazing. And is that next book going to be geared toward addiction, or is it kind of a more general book to help just anybody?
You know, the book is written in a way that could help anyone, because I believe every single person is in recovery. Every single person, especially with COVID and coronavirus, we're all in recovery now. So it could help. It could help anyone. But I definitely wrote it from the lens of addiction and mental health recovery, 100%. So this is definitely coming from the lens of my story of addiction recovery and focusing a lot on recovery. So it's really for everyone, but specifically if there was an audience, it is for someone who is along the journey of addiction and mental health recovery, or haven't even started it, who might be struggling. So it's for both.
Yay. Oh my gosh. I can't wait. I'm going to get that one too. And thank you so much, truly, sincerely, for just sharing your heart and your experiences, and inspiring us all to live our best life. And that's why I love One Life Fully Lived. And I love that you're involved with all those guys too, because that is what this is about, just living our best lives. And yeah, so thank you very much for your time. Super appreciate it.
Yeah,
See
thank
you
you so
soon.
much, Janice. Appreciate it. And thanks for asking me to do this, and keep doing your good work too, and sharing your voice in the world.
Thank you, Jesse.